All right, well, I know when I'm wrong and I can admit it. And in episode 5 of Lazarus, we finally have something we can get behind. We finally have a little bit of a story development, and we are slowly but surely turning me into a fan. I really never thought this was going to happen, but let's get straight to the highlight. Again, this is going to be my random rant, rambling on. This is the Big Fellas Beefcast Lazarus, Season 1, Episode 5 recap. And to get into it, we got to address the elephant in the room, the popcorn wizard. I 100% did not see this happening, and it caught me off guard. We already know that Elaine is the number one factor in this whole entire team. Like I said in the previous episode, without her, this team is going to fall on its face 10 out of 10 times. But she finally gets to meet her battle with the popcorn wizard. The popcorn wizard came out of nowhere, and we don't even know if she's directly related or has any involvement with Dr. Skinner. But all these traps that Elaine has been setting, she is the one who is jumping on it. She even said, hey, you're the only person to get this close to trying to find out my true identity. It's really cool. We have a straight face-off between smarts, wits, and all other kinds of things. So, to give a quick little recap, we'll run down on the episode. We know that Dr. Skinner is still evading everybody, but the team is slowly but surely making a little bit of leads and a little bit of progress. We get to see that they find the Delta Corp president. I don't know how, but the pacing that this show moves is kind of incredible. Once they find them, they immediately are like, we're going to go directly there. And as the scene jumps forward, we have our tech wizards left and right driving drones. We got echolocation. We got all different types of crazy stuff going on here. But as Doug, as Axel, as everybody is trying to figure out a game plan, we already know Axel's not listening or doing any of that shit. Instead of sitting back and coming up with a plan, he decides to do things as he usually does. The pizza, the hot dog, the same thing over and over again. As they're all divulging on a plan, he decides to walk directly into the president's condo building. He fakes his way through security, and this is hilarious because he ends up doing a MCU style scene. I don't know if y'all remember in the Winter Soldier, but whenever Captain America is inside of the elevator and the 5 army officers come in there and they're trying to detain him, he's like, does anybody want to get off before we do this? Essentially, Axel took a page out of Captain Steve Rogers' book and does the exact same thing. He walks through security, like I said, somehow manipulates the high-tech programming to get on the elevator, and then one by one, the security team walks into the elevator. And as they walk into him, you see that sleek, cheeky-ass smile that Axel always has. And as they pan out and they get a different POV from the rest of the crew, they're like, are you serious? He really just walked in? Well, of course, because he's got free will. This is his show. You are all just NPCs that happen to be along for the ride. So he's sitting in the elevator and he is putting fisticuffs, straight hands. Everybody's getting beat up. Girls are getting choked out. Girls are getting hit in the face. The guys are getting thrown around, tossed. It looks just like the Captain American scene in The Winter Soldier. It's pretty good. Of course, he is the hero. He does whatever he wants and he cannot be phased or hurt. He's doing backflips. He's doing scissor kicks. He's throwing people left and right. It is pure utter chaos inside of this elevator. At the top of the floor, it opens and there are nothing but bodies left due to Axel. He then walks up and he's cheeky. He's slightly growing on me on a character, but he puts his phone to the back of the president's head and he says, deactivate all your security. Simple as that. So inside of the president's condo, there is absolutely no security. There's no guns. There's nothing like that. And with Axel, with his quick wit and quick thinking, just being the character in his own show, puts the phone to the back of his head and tells him to deactivate the security. Once that, they link up with his super tech technology. It's crazy. Essentially, Axel puts down his phone and a holographic image comes up and they're talking to the rest of the team. They're explaining to him like, hey, where's Skinner? At this time, the president says, I don't know. I want him just as bad as you all. Back whenever this drug was in development, we did not know that it was going to mutate into a virus that was going to kill everybody. He said he got a little bit of the inclination later on because they were studying on different animals and one of the monkeys ended up dying. As you'll see in the opening scenes, there is a eyeball, a very crystal clear eyeball. It reminds me of a Jujutsu Kaisen with Goto, how clear and blue that eye is. But it kind of looks like an atmosphere. It kind of looks like the galaxy, like a star that's exploding. It's very, very weird. But he tells him that he does not know where Skinner is, and he is looking for him as well because he needs to cure it. Because you got to remember, everybody took this drug, and it was to remove any type of hate and evil and anger, and it makes people very happy. So he is also looking for it because he has his own problems being a president and a CEO. He's probably done some things that he is not really proud of. Anyways, we move forward, and the gang devises a plan stating that we need to fool Skinner. We have to pull Skinner out. Instead of tucking our tail and waiting for everybody to die. Oh, caveat, there's only 21 days left. So even though we're on episode 5, 9 days have passed inside of their universe. Anyway, so they devise a plan. They say, this is what we're going to do. We're going to act like we found a cure, and we are going to bring Skinner out. Hopefully, with this plan, he will view in, he will teleprompt in, and then we can bing his location. So all of the emails are sent out to the most important people in the world, all the important doctors, MDs, and so have you. They are also sending out a fake antidote. They have 3 vials, and it is stated that these 3 vials are going to be susceptible to being the cure. That is the plan, and things start to naturally work very well. Of course, in hindsight, they're setting up a security team, 50 people. They got their background check, this, that, and the third. They're precautioning everything, dotting their I's, crossing their T's, and they're trying to make this thing foolproof. However, Dr. Skinner, along with our new unsung hero, one of the greatest characters with a silly name, Popcorn Wizard, has to intervene. Now, I've told you all from the beginning, Elaine is the unsung hero, and I will beat that horse until it's dead. While she is setting up the feed, while she is sitting essentially in central command, she decides to do a backdoor escape plan. What the backdoor escape plan is, even though she's in control of all the walkie-talkies, all the cameras, all the audio cues, she knows that eventually Skinner is supposed to remote in, or maybe a hacker. Well, she gets her wish. As they're all going through the speech and they are talking about the benefits of the new cure, the lights go off. And that is where Popcorn Wizard comes through and starts doing all types of crazy shit. First of all, she turns off the lights. Then she starts making the escalator stop and go, stop and go. And then she turns the AC, the air conditioning units on. So it is very hot. People are getting stressed out. People are running left to right. As she is doing all this, this is because the Popcorn Wizard wants to have the cure for herself. So while she's digging through the files, secretly, Elaine put a backdoor escape that is going to be counterintuitive to the Popcorn Wizard. That backdoor escape is so, while she is digging through those files, she is uploading essentially like a keylogger, and that device is going to pinpoint where the Popcorn Wizard is. Well, in a great back and forth Batman and Robin style, 1v1 Superman versus the Hulk, whatever you want to say, the comparison. This battle is going on, and that virus is getting downloaded. The whole time we pan over to Popcorn Wizard in this super crazy style van with a huge flower on it. There's something to that we'll dig a little bit deeper on, but as those two are battling back and forth, the wizard is the one who shuts everything down, and at the last minute, Elaine pulls out her golden trump card. She does find her location and is shown that she is somewhere in Pakistan near a central bank. Again, Delta being one of the patenters of the drug. There are just so many different layers, and the deeper that we get into the show, we get to see the different layers that are coming out in front of us. So she gets the ping on this Pakistan area. However, this isn't the Popcorn Wizard's first rodeo. She is in a mobile unit. In that mobile unit, she is driving throughout the desert, like I said, near all these hedge funds, near these banks, and she understands that she's finally been duped. And she's like, wow, that is hardcore. Wow, Elaine is hardcore. I cannot believe that happened. She then closes down, kill switch, and throws her laptop outside of the vehicle into a valley. The trace is lost, she goes dark, and the team is back to square zero. We thought that Elaine, and in her defense, she really did try to lose the battle to win the war, but they ended up losing them both. And then at the end of the episode, while the team is sitting there, they're gathering recon, they're trying to figure things out and what to do forward, and they get a phone call. And it is the Popcorn Wizard. She says, wow, you are very hardcore. Wow, you were the only person close enough and smart enough to almost catch me. Hats off to you. And in a state of shock and a state of awe, Elaine being the MVP she is, she says, wait, what? And that's it. That is episode 2 of the Beefy Big Fellas podcast and episode 5 of Lazarus. That's a quick little recap. Very good. The show is finally starting to turn me on to it. I'm starting to become a fan. Like I said, it's been plain. There has not been too much character development. It's slow. Axel does whatever he wants. Something kind of cool happens. He ends up getting saved. Well, now we have another person involved. They're starting to get leads slowly and surely. First, they were going to a cave trying to find the guy who they thought was Dr. Skinner. Then they see that there's 1,000 different images. Then they get to go to a club. So everybody is slowly but surely being shown to their true colors and their true nature. But this kind of reminds me of like more of a cartoon. Every single episode that we've had so far, it's only 5, but every single episode has been like a new villain, and then they kind of catch them, or they go to the end, like with the cops, and they get taken away to jail. Not in this one. Not in this one. They get away, but we have a new player in there. The only thing else that I had to add on to this is, who is the popcorn wizard? Obviously, she was out here trying to find the cure, but is that for her personal benefit? Was she sent in by Dr. Skinner to kind of find out if there is a cure so they can steal that and then sell it back to the public? Like, what is the end goal, and who is the popcorn wizard? We still have no idea, and we don't know anything about Skinner. So we're 9 days inside of the Lazarus series, and there is no Dr. Skinner outside of his initial investment and that slight background that we got back in episode 2. But that's the recap. Be sure to tune in. Let me know what your favorite part of episode 5 was, and we'll see you guys on the next one.